Hi, Mustafa.
Hi, Mustafa.
Nikhil, can we start?
Yeah, sure. Toastmasters and my dear guests, I welcome you all to this great joint meeting with Bahrain's Toastmasters Club. So, Toastmaster International is a non-profitable organization which was initiated by a leader called Ralph C. Smedley with the sole motive to improve communication and leadership skills among the members across the globe. Toastmaster International has 15,900 clubs and more than 345,000 members in 142 countries, and Chennai Wordsmiths is one amongst them. Toastmasters works on a four-pillar of values, namely RISE, R for respect, I for integrity, S for service, and E for excellence. The mission of our club is to provide supportive and positive learning experience so that the members can develop communication and leadership skills that resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. So before getting into the meeting, I would like to specify the code of conduct. Speakers who are going to speak today are asked not to talk about sex, religion, and politics. Since this is an online meeting, I have separate rules and regulations for this. I request all the members to mute their microphone if they are not talking, as it might distract the speaker. Use the chat with all option that is present to provide any feedback or special mentions, if any. Although this is a virtual meeting, please refrain from using your mobile phone during the meeting. Please do not interrupt a speaker while he is speaking, as it might distract the speaker. If the members want, even though the members want to take a break, please switch off your video and audio and then take a break, as it might be distracting to the speaker when you're going to take a break with the video on. So with that, let's get into the meeting. For the benefit of the members and the guests, every meeting shall be started and ended by one special person called the presiding officer. And today's presiding officer is a mechanical engineer who's working in Hyundai Motors, and that is Toastmaster Shruti. I would like to hand over my control to her.
Thank you, Nikhil, for the introduction. Welcome you all to the 569th meeting of Chennai Wordsmiths, 241st meeting of YATC, and the international joint meeting of YoungAdult Toastmasters Club Bahrain with Chennai Wordsmiths Toastmasters Club India. So let's have a huge round of applause. So I would take a moment to recognize the dignitaries present here. We have the president of Mogaper Marvel's Toastmasters Club, DTM Rajiv Nambiar, joining with us today. We have the Area B4 Director, Toastmaster Balamurugan with us. Welcome, sir.
Hello, Shruti, thank you.
Yes, sir. And we have the Area Director, Toastmaster Nada Kamber from Bahrain. And we have the charter member of Chennai Wordsmiths Toastmasters Club, DTM Abraham Zakaria. Once upon a time, a professor in Harvard University entered into a classroom full of students. As soon as he entered, the students greeted him, and so did he. After 2 or 3 seconds, he took a pot and placed it right in front of all the students on the table. And he asked the question to the students, "Is the pot filled?" All the students immediately replied, saying no. After that, the professor picked up a few golf balls and filled the pot till the rim. And as he filled, he asked the students the same question again. And this time when asked, "Is the pot full?" the students replied yes. And the professor disagreed, saying no. He then filled the pot, which was already having golf balls, with pebbles. So as you can clearly imagine, the pebbles, when they have been poured inside the pot, they happen to take the space between the golf balls, as you can imagine. after that, he again asked the students, is the pot filled now? The students replied, yes, it is. And he again disagreed. After this time, he took some sand and started pouring the sand into the pot again. And as again you could imagine, the sand started filling the space between the pebbles, the golf balls. Again, when he asked the students, is the pot full now? They firmly said, yes, now the pot is filled. Yet again, the professor disagreed with them. And he started filling the pot with water. As you can imagine, this entire pot is now having the golf balls, the pebbles, the sand, and water. The important lesson here is the pot, the glass pot, is our life and the time we have been given. The golf balls, the pebbles, the sand, and water are the most important things for us. The golf ball is basically the family, the most important thing. The pebbles is something that we do for a living, the work. And the sand are the other major things like friends, family members, relatives, etc. And finally, the water, the hobbies that we have and the different kind of activities that we do during our free time. All of this needs time. But at most times, what we feel is we don't have enough time for all of these. Our life is basically like the pot. All we have to do is prioritize. Once if we are able to prioritize, we will be able to fit everything in our time, in the given time. But the same thing, if somebody had given preference or priority to the water first, the entire pot would have been filled and there would be no space for the golf balls or the pebbles or the sand. Prioritizing is important so we can use the time to the fullest and we can definitely make use of every opportunity. So with that note for today, taking it as a thought for today, I announce this international joint meeting open. Let's have a huge round of applause. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all once again to this international joint meeting. It gives me great pride to welcome the president of Young Adult Toastmasters Club, Bahrain. When I asked about her, one major thing that drives her every week to Toastmasters meeting, she was proudly telling me that it is her club members and they are her extended family and they strive to encourage and help one another grow. Toastmaster Najla Kambar works, she is the founder and creative director at Kambar Designs and Media, specializing in graphics design in the publishing industry internationally. So join with me to welcome the president of YATC, Toastmaster Najla.
Thank you so much, CW President Sruti, for those kind words and for the topic of the day. It was very inspiring. Now, I'd like to open up our Yacht Club meeting as well, number 241. I don't have a fancy video, but I'm just going to clap for our club in that case.
I can play it for you.
Sure, go ahead. Yep, I now call to order meeting number 241. Stephen Hawking says, just like neurons in a giant brain, we are all now connected by the internet. And during these hard times where we are only allowed to connect online, I find it amazing that CW Toastmasters managed to come up with this initiative to connect with other Toastmasters in other clubs, in other countries especially. And that itself is to connect to each other and grow together and learn from each other from totally different countries and cultures. And I find that super amazing. So thank you so much, CW Toastmasters for inviting us for this amazing meeting. I would also like to say that with that, let us share the benefits we have gained for ourselves with others. Those are the words of Dr. Ralph C. Smedley, and I look forward to learning from you all this evening. Back to you, Toastmaster Sruti.
Thank you. We express great gratitude towards you as well as your club members for accepting the invite and being here today. Thank you all once again. And as we Toastmasters know, every Toastmasters meeting is entirely conducted, or more like MC, by this major person, who we call it as the Toastmaster of the day. Today, our Toastmaster of the day is from Bahrain, YATC Club. A Toastmaster since 2013, a distinguished Toastmaster since 2017, a district humorist champion in the year 2017, who is currently working as a general manager at Cumber Auto Electrical and AC Repair. So with much pride, join me in welcoming the Toastmaster of today's meeting, distinguished Toastmaster Khaled.
Thank you so much, Chennai Wordsmiths President, for that wonderful introduction. I hope to do honor to both my home club and as well as the host club, Chennai Wordsmiths. It is a wonderful opportunity to be your Master of Ceremonies, as we call it here in Bahrain, or in Chennai Wordsmiths, the Toastmaster of the day. My name is Khaled Ismail, and I will be your TMOD for today. When it came to the theme of tonight's or today's meeting, we picked on something that is close to us all as of late. The theme for today is locked yet connected. Bahrain and India are technically almost 3,000 kilometers apart. And despite the change and the quarantine that we all have, we are connected more than ever, despite how locked we are. It just shows, especially at the way we're having this international meeting right now, and how the Toastmasters community is promoting an ability to have meetings such as this. It just shows that the borders that we place amongst ourselves are those that we place, and we have the power to lift them. All that we have to do is to try. And Toastmasters or International is the perfect organization to do so, because it gives you the skills to become an able speaker and an able leader. And it just reminds you that Toastmasters International does not magically give you these skills. It is the skills that you inherently and naturally have, and it only helps to unlock it. It is the key to your door. So tonight, despite we are being locked in our homes, wherever we are, in India or in Bahrain, or wherever that may be, we are connected and closer as ever. So tonight, as your TMOD, let's have a wonderful meeting tonight, because we have 5 wonderful speakers and a surprising guest speaker as well. And we're going to have a riveting and hopefully an amazing meeting. So for those who are in with me tonight, I know we can't applaud in unison, but all we can do is fake clap, and hopefully it'll ring true in our hearts. Going in line with the agenda for tonight, the other person that I'd like to introduce tonight is going to be the one who will be watchfully looking at our meeting tonight, ensuring that we do our best, and to hopefully, with she and her team, give us all the positive inputs in how to make our meetings a much more positive and suitable working environment as per the Toastmasters mission itself. To give an introduction to this woman, if America has Mariah Carey and Canada has Celine Dion, the young adults of Bahrain have Maram Al Aradi. She is a diva, she's a singer, but not only is she those two things, she is also a chemical engineer. She is one to be wary of, folks. She is steadfast, she is ambitious, and once she sets her mind to things, she will never stop. Trust me, I am the VPE and I have suffered. To be a general evaluator for tonight, please everyone welcome Toastmaster Maram Al Aradi.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies or Toastmaster of the Day, for that wonderful yet lovely introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Maram Al Aradi, your General Evaluator for this meeting. And I am honored to take up this role, actually, but I'm not going to do it alone. I'll be helped in with mini-me's, I would have to say. We have an amazing list of 5 speakers with, I'm sure, very well achieved and exuberant evaluators. And it's actually a mix of the pathways as well as the traditional program. So it's been a while since I've seen a traditional program project, and I'm looking forward to have this meeting as per the agenda, hopefully. So I'll not be taking much of their time, but I'll be introducing as well the role players that I have with me, which are the timer, the accounter, and the grammarian. To start off with the timer, she's a diva in the making. She's bold, she is wild, and she is the Young Adults Toastmasters secretary. She's always ready to speak her mind and her heart. She stands strong in the face of adversity. A fellow female engineer, also chemical engineer, and always willing to take up a role. Please help me welcome our timer for the evening, Toastmaster Sara Taher.
Thank you, Toastmaster Maram Al Aradi, for such a wonderful introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, and our dear guests, good evening to you all. Is it evening yet? Anyway, so I am Toastmaster Sara Taher, the Secretary of Young Adult Toastmaster Club, and I'm going to be the timer for today's meeting. So now let me tell everyone about their time. As I can see in the agenda, we have different timings in the prepared speeches session. So for the first 3 speakers, Toastmaster Anusha, and Toastmaster Abhishek, and Toastmaster Shruti, you will have 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I will put on the green light. At 6 minutes, I'm going to be putting on the yellow light. At 7 minutes, which is the end, I'm going to put the red light. After that, with 30 seconds, you will find a slide that shows that you're over time. Then I have a speaker doing ACG1, Toastmaster Mithli. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. You will have 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, you will have green light. 2.5 minutes, you will have yellow light. 3 minutes, you're gonna have the red light. Then I have a Toastmaster doing ACG10, Toastmaster, okay, Balma. I'm so sorry, but you know yourself, ACG10, you're gonna have 10 to 40 minutes. At 10 minutes, you will have the green light. At 12 minutes, you're gonna have the yellow light. And at 14 minutes, you're gonna have the red light. So for the evaluators of the very wonderful speakers we're gonna have, you will have 2 to 3 minutes, and you know that 2 minutes is green light, 2.5 minutes is yellow light, and eventually the 3 minutes is actually the red light. Then we have the table topic sessions, 1 to 2 minutes, 1 minute green light, 1.5 is yellow light, 2 minutes you will have the red light. So before moving back to my dear general evaluator, let me try the screen with you so that you all can see the green and the yellow and the red lights, all right? Just a second, please. Here you are. This is the green. If there is any issue with that, please inform me in the chat. And then you have the yellow, then you have the red, and this, once you pass 30 seconds and you're over time, you will see this very nice slide. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Madam Timer. And we look forward to have everybody to stick to their timing criteria. Looking forward to that. Just a small note for the timer. Don't forget to actually put the PowerPoint on the slides, not the thing.
Yeah, sure.
And it's Toastmaster Bala Morgan. I hope that I'm pronouncing it right, I think, Bala Morgan. Do we have our accounter Toastmaster Sujita, or Sujata, I mean. Is she here? Or are they there? Toastmaster Sujata, are you there so that I can introduce you?
I think she is not joined yet. Maybe what I'll do is I can take up the counter role. It's Arun Kumar.
All right. So in line with the changes in the agenda, we will have a substitute for the counter. Can we please have Toastmaster Arun to introduce the counter role and his responsibilities for this meeting?
Hi all, it's a privilege to be joining this international joint meeting, and as a counter for the day, my role would be to count the ahs and ums that's used in the meeting. Basically, as Toastmasters, we are now trained not to use these ahs and ums, which would definitely be reducing the speed of our delivery, or it would not be a good sign of a good speaker. So basically, that's the reason behind this R counter role. And as our counter today, I would be noting down where are the R's that or R's and hums and other non-verbal communication being used during the course of your speeches. And when general evaluator calls me at the end of the meeting, I would give the report on the same. Thank you, general evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Arun. That was a great and crisp introduction of the R counter. And finally, we have the grammarian, who's a member of the Young Adult Toastmasters. It's none other than Toastmaster Muhammad Ismail. He's a relatively new Toastmaster who has a really amazing hair. Sadly, he's not having his video on. Otherwise, you would see that it can be used in Sunsilk, advertisement or something. Studying under English literature at the University of Bahrain, he's not just eloquent, but he's also a gem enthusiast. Can you please have Toastmaster Muhammad Ismail to introduce the role of the grammarian?
Thank you, Madam MC. For that introduction, usually with the hair. Hello and good afternoon, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. My role for today is to watch for any grammatical errors, inconsistencies that I might find, to as well take note of interesting phrases or quotes. In addition, my role includes introducing the word of the day, obviously, which is coalesce. Deriving from the word coalescence in its verb form, and is defined as to blend or come together. An example, the ice masses coalesce into a glacier over time. I wish to see the word used for today's meeting for a total of 15 times. Back to you, Madam MC.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Muhammad Ismail. And hopefully with this meeting, we could coalesce all Toastmasters from India as well as Toastmasters from Bahrain to have an amazing meeting today. And with that, I'd have to say that concluding with my role as the general evaluator, I'll be giving my remarks at the end of the meeting, what we did well and how we could improve later on. And looking forward to have an amazing meeting. Over to you, Master of Ceremonies, the distinguished Toastmaster Khaled Ismail.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Maram, our general evaluator for today. It gives me great joy to see all of us working together. We are truly coalescing into a wonderful meeting, and I hopefully in the next session, all of us coalesce into something that will be very beautiful in the end. We have now reached one of the most exciting parts of the meeting today, which is the prepared speeches today. We have 5 prepared speakers from the joint clubs, all of which will be evaluated by their fellow peers. They all have their allotted timings and objectives, which will be detailed as we go through each one, but fret not. We have a wonderful guest speaker to top all of this off. Think of it as a cherry on top of the wonderful sundae of all speakers that we have today. So as we move on to the first speaker, I would like to first introduce and call upon the evaluator to detail the objectives and remind us of the speaker's timing. What I'll be doing differently is what we do back here at home in Bahrain, is that I will be also giving a small snippet of the introducing the evaluator as well. The evaluator for the first speaker is a Toastmaster that has the same enthusiasm and energy that the day he was inducted. He's a social media guru, so watch out for him on LinkedIn because he has a lot of posts, a lot of stories, and is on a lot of things, especially on his captivating updates on work and life. Fun fact, he did his engineering in SRM University in Chennai, so he is quite close to the Chennai Wordsmiths in a way. He is currently an account sales manager for the Ibrahim Khalil Kanu company, and today he will be the evaluator for the first speaker. Please, everyone, welcome Toastmaster Akbar Khan.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony, DTM Khaled Smile, and good afternoon, everyone, once again. My name is Akbar Khan, and I am the evaluator of Toastmaster Anuksha. She is attending her project level 1 persuasive influence, and the title of the project is Your Kind Attention Please. And the purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech or any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. So make sure that the member should get this evaluation form and apply in the next speech. And also the purpose of the speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. This is from my side, and I wish my speaker all the best. I know you are doing great, and I will give my report at the end of the meeting. Back to you, Master of Ceremony.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Akbar Khan. And now to introduce our first speaker for tonight. The speaker will be attempting a level 1 project, which is the evaluation and feedback. This Toastmaster is a relatively new Toastmaster, who is also a student preparing for the competitive exams that we have in India. This Toastmaster loves meeting new people and wants to enhance her public speaking skills. And what better place to do that than in Toastmasters itself? Please, everyone, welcome our first speaker with the title, Your Kind Attention Please. Your Kind Attention Please. Please, everyone, welcome Toastmaster Anusha.
Just a minute, Khaled. I think there is a intermittent connection loss, and she's joining back.
Thank you for that update. Apologies, everyone. We are currently having technical difficulties. I wish I had music prepared, but I don't. So please listen to my beautiful voice. I'm not as good as Toastmaster Maram, but I think we will survive. If the technical difficulties will take as long, we can also vouch to move to the second speaker to save on time. All right, I have the thumbs up from the Vice President of Education of Chennai Wordsmiths, so that gives me the power. Sorry, Toastmaster Akbar, you will have to hold your horses for just a few more minutes. We will move on to the second speaker. Now, as per protocol, before I introduce the second speaker, I will go to the second evaluator who's going to be evaluating the second speaker. This Toastmaster is the first Toastmaster from the state of Tamil Nadu, circa 2004, and is the only surviving charter member of the Chennai Wordsmiths. a person who has filled many posts from club to district and is also going to be the evaluator for today's meeting and especially for this coming speaker. And it also gives me great joy because he is also an accountant from what I've heard. Yay, accountants for the win. Everyone, please welcome the evaluator for the second speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Abraham.
Thank you. Am I audible? Yes. Toastmaster Abhishek will be presenting Dynamic Leadership Level 2 project under the communication style, and the title is Customize Your Style. And the project objectives are: the purpose of this project is for the member to learn about the different communication styles and identify his primary style. Also, for the member to share the impact of his style on others. I'm sure he would collage it in his speech. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Abraham, for that wonderful note about his objectives. Now we shall move on to the second speaker. During this lockdown, this speaker is taking the time to sharpen his skills. A qualified chartered accountant and working in global equity research, who's going to be doing his level 2 project, Understanding Your Communication Style. Please, everyone, welcome. His speech title is Customize Your Style. Customize Your Style. Please, everyone, welcome Toastmaster Abhishek.
You're not audible, Abhishek.
I think you muted your microphone.
Somebody kindly unmute for him.
Is this okay now?
Yes.
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah, but there will be kind of video and audio will be connected in different things, so kindly apologies for that. Imagine it is 6 a.m. in the morning and you are going for a walk in the park and you see a girl coming towards you. What would you do? Would you initiate a conversation like, "Hi, you look so pretty. Can you go for a coffee?" Imagine this now. A boy is coming towards you instead. What would you do? I'm sure the conversation would start and end with a hi. Isn't it? Well, to be honest, this is the communication style that I am aware of. Happy evening to my yet connected Toastmasters in Wordsmiths and also in Bahrain. This project on communication style requires me to discuss about 4 communication styles as defined by Toastmasters International and also its impact in my personal and professional life. Among the 4 styles, the first style is direct communication. They are independent, ambitious, and more results or goal focused. The second style is supportive communication. They are calm, steady. They listen more and prefer relaxed and no tension environment. Our Toastmaster Arun, so no need of explanation for that, is a good example for this kind of communication. He takes more responsibility, whatever comes in his way, but stands so cool and relaxed. The third style of communication is analytical communication. They are logical, organized, and they rarely give opinion. They express more emotions. For an example, actor Amir Khan, if you could notice any of his interviews or speeches, he would analyze the situation a lot than giving an opinion or a conclusion. Both kind of style is initiating communication. As the word suggests, they are more sociable, fun-loving, and innovative. But the pace of communication will be fast, and they love to speak more than listening. For this example, Vice President membership of every club will fall under this category. If any guest comes to our club, they will run to them and approach them and start a conversation. Like, you can join Toastmasters for improving a communication style, for improving a leadership styles, C, D, E reasons, etc. We all know the impact the corona created on us and on the world economy. One of the most affected industry was financial markets and its related financial service industry. It was very first few days in my office, around 8 p.m. A company came out with a press release. As we are suffering from corona, kindly grant us first quarter holiday. That is, the financial performance is going to be poor for the first quarter. My manager immediately called me. Abhishek, what is the market reaction for this announcement? And what does the other analyst comment about the same? With all the input that I have, I immediately replied, the market is performing worse and the analysts are downgrading the company. She smiled and asked me again, will the market perform better when the company is stating that they are going to perform poor? I went back to research on this. About half an hour later, I came back again. I started telling her, shares were down 15% post-market after this announcement. And the Bloomberg analysts are expecting 15 to 20% profit cut. And they continued my speech for 4 minutes. After that, she asked, so shares were down 15% and profit cut is expected 15 to 20%. That's it, right? I was like, what? I gave a 4 minutes icebreaker on this company, but you are saying only the two numbers is enough. This incident came to me when I was surfing through the different communication styles that I encountered with Toastmaster International. Can anyone unmute yourself and state with what kind of communication style did I encounter this situation with? Anyone? Okay, thank you.
How do you feel?
Okay, I didn't hear it properly. So since the green card is there, I will continue my speech as well. So my style of communication here I encountered with this direct communication. And now you can understand why I didn't give any example for a direct communication style. Because I am a sitting example for this style. And my manager's communication style is analytical. Since I am a direct communication style, my mind is too enthusiastic and it wants to take more challenges. So I went back to the incident and started thinking how the situation would have been if I initiated the conversation with an initiating communication style. To keep it more engaging, I would have narrated a story. It was around 8 p.m. in the evening. The company came out with an announcement. As I was trying to download the press release, it took some time due to poor connectivity issue. Before I could complete the whole story, she would have ran out of the lobby. My dear Toastmasters, We all are good communicators, and we all have a unique communication style to ourselves. But to add a feather to our cap, we need to understand the communication style of the recipient and customize our communication style in order to sell our information. If the recipient is supportive, we should give them evidences with all the enthusiasm to sell our data. If the recipient is analytical, we must provide them just a data to convince them. Is that difficult for us? Obviously no, because we are Toastmasters. Are you ready to customize yourself Toastmaster of the day? Khaled, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, great.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Abhishek, for that wonderful speech. I believe there was a bit of technical difficulties that you faced during the speech, and I'm glad that you went forward, and I hope everyone could have heard him. There was a bit of an echo, so if there are any issues, we can address it. If not, there was a note to the timer from the Vice President of Education from Chennai Wordsmiths, Toastmaster Sarah. It's requested that when you show the time for these speeches, to have it up for only 5 seconds, then to put it back, to turn it off, so that the main highlight will be the speaker itself. If that is clear, give me a thumbs up. Thank you, Sarah. And now, hopefully to break this curse that I'm having as the cursed MC, we have our first speaker once more. Anusha is back to speak again. I've already introduced the evaluator, so I will go right back to it, to the speaker itself. To repeat, this Toastmaster is a relatively new Toastmaster who is also preparing for the competitive exams in India. This Toastmaster loves meeting new people and wants to enhance her public speaking skills, and what a better place than to do it in Toastmasters. With a speech title called Your Kind Attention, Please. Please everyone welcome Toastmaster Anusha.
Twine, twine, twine. Passengers, your kind attention, please. Train number 126. To this Thursday, wish you all a safe and comfortable journey. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Till the end of school life, I was not allowed to travel alone because my overprotective dad would always present pains of life. However, my college life is a revelation to me. For the first time in my life, I was allowed to travel from Chennai to my college in Trichy. It so happened because Rockford Express is the most convenient of all trains. It starts at 9:10 p.m. and reaches at morning 6 a.m. Indian Railways intentionally slowed the train speed to 53 km per hour so that passengers of Rockford can leisurely sleep. Not only that, during every weekend, Rockford is not a train. It becomes a mini college as all my college mates will travel in it. These reasons made my dad give the approval for my solo trips to college, but only if it's through Rockford. However, my dad, being my dad, in the very first Rockford trip, requested all the girlfriends to wake me up in the morning before Trichy station. But my dad didn't have a single clue that an adventure of lifetime was waiting for me in that Rockford Express. Coincidentally, on that day, an old lady requested me to exchange her upper berth seat with my seat. Thus, none of my friends knew where I was sleeping. But I had much faith on my friends that I didn't even set an alarm. I hugged my phone. Woke up to that I overslept and missed my station. My adrenaline and my friends had requested Can you hear me? Hello? Okay,
Yes, yes, yes.
Ticket examiner, Mr. Ganesh, who looked like a man in his 50s, was the sweetest person I've ever met. Seeing my shocked face, he tried to pacify me. He made a few phone calls, and now with a broad smile, he said he had made arrangements for my return journey. I was asked to get down at the next coming station and told to take a return train which is waiting just for me. Ladies and gentlemen, a whole train is waiting just for me. Can you believe that? Mr. Ganesh had managed to find a train which was crossing this Rockford train and passing through my station. When I boarded that train, I could see only three faces: driver, guard, and an inspector. I was the only passenger in that train for 30 minutes. Finally, I reached the station safely. But still, my heart rate skyrocketed for the next few hours due to all these surreal incidences. Well, friends, in the very first trip, Rockford gave me all the emotions of my life, from joy, guilt, nervousness, fear to excitement. From that trip onwards, romance between me and Rockford blossomed. But I became more and more vigilant. And thereafter, I made sure that I got up before my station. There were many such memorable experiences in my Rockford, like spending sleepless night with my friends, chit-chatting, etc., etc. Gradually, as my trips in Rockford increased, I met different people and handled difficult situations. For me, Rockford is not a train. It is a place where I found my freedom and individuality. Thus, Rockford always has a special place in my heart. With all these experiences in Rockford, I have realized that our life itself is like a train journey. At birth, we board this train and meet our parents and travel with them. But like how my dad left me alone on that Rockford journey, at some station in our life, our parents will step down from our train, leaving us on our journey all alone. As time goes by, other passengers will board this train, like our better half, children, and close friends, and they travel with us for a long journey. There will also be passengers like Mr. Ganesh who travel for a very short distance but make a lasting impact with their kindness and helping nature. The biggest mystery to everyone is that we do not know at which station we ourselves will step down. Thus, we must live the best ways so that we leave behind beautiful memories for those who have traveled with us. Finally, passengers, your kind attention please. I wish you all joyful journey to coming years on your train of life. Reach success, express your love, spread happiness. My dear Toastmasters from Chennai and Bahrain, I thank you all for being passengers of my train today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anusha. I could not believe that a train ride could be as magical as you did today. Thank you for going through the technical difficulties you've had during the speech, before the speech, and hopefully now after the speech you won't have any more technical difficulties. We now move on to our third speaker and evaluator. Before I introduce the third speaker, I will introduce the evaluator. This Toastmaster is one of the 2 longest staying members in the Young Adult Toastmasters Club. She is a pillar to count on in many aspects. She is the founder and director of her own design company that she and her sister run called Comber Designs and Media. Fun fact, she is also the beautiful wife to the handsome, dashing, and quaint man who serves you as your TMOD of today. A punishment that she will have to serve and endure for the rest of her life. Please everyone welcome the evaluator for the third speaker, Toastmaster Nejla Kamber.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. And yes, I have to deal with his for the rest of my life. Now, my speaker this evening, good afternoon once again to everybody, and good evening to those in India. Our speaker this evening, Toastmaster Shruti, is attempting her Innovation Planning Level 3 elective, which is Connect with Storytelling. Connect with Storytelling. Her purpose for this one is that she is to practice using a short story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. Simple, short, and sweet. So with that, best of luck to my speaker, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nejla Kamber. And now for our third speaker, prepare to be amazed. She is the current president of the esteemed Chennai Wordsmiths, a Toastmaster of only 2 years. A project manager at Hyundai Motor India. Today, she's doing a wonderful project, an elective called Connect with Storytelling, with the speech title, The Untold Victory. The Untold Victory by the third speaker for today. Everyone please welcome Toastmaster Shruti.
I just want to check, am I audible? It was the Sunday. I woke up at 6 in the morning with quite a disinterest in my face, uncertainty on my mind, and a fear in the heart. Respected Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests, have you all ever been in a situation where you have been forced or pushed to do something that you really disliked? A show of hands, please. Well, quite a few of you, and so was I. On that Sunday, 17th August 2008, I was dragged by my mother to participate in the Chennai district level Taekwondo Championship tournament. So I got ready for the day, and my mom and I reached the auditorium. And I was amazed that I just gazed in astonishment to see fellow participants warming up vigorously with great intensity. As I started walking inside the auditorium, I felt the heat, the energy, and the fire exuded from each and every participant in that auditorium. Everything was set and the tournament had begun. And eventually, my fear for facing the opponent and fighting increased. My heartbeat started increasing a little faster. I heard my name being called in ring number 1. So was the name of the national Taekwondo champion, my opponent. My master and I went up to ring 1, and I got ready for the bout. He was giving me last-minute tips and tactics. All fell deaf on my ears as I stood there stunned to see my opponent. 50% taller than me and 50% slimmer than me. I got ready with all the arm guard, shin guard, chest guard, and headgear. Chong Hong called the referee, and we both entered the ring. My fear raised as much than usual. to face her and fight it. And my heart started pounding even faster. And as we stood facing each other, the bout began. Within a few seconds after the bout had begun, her long, slender leg just swayed past my face and it hit hard on my face. And before even I could realize the impact, I fell down. I could feel my face burning, my vision becoming all blurry, and it pained severely. Referee started with the countdown, 10, 9, 8. I tried to get up. I could not, but I realized that this is the moment I have to go face the fear. 7, 8, 7, 6, 5. In those few fraction of seconds, a sheer conviction had built up in me to go and face out the fear right at that moment. 4, 3, 2, 1. And back I was on my feet steadily as ever. I advanced with continuous kicks till the clock ticked 0. I was not just fighting my opponent. I was fighting the fear that I had for fighting and facing the opponent. Dear ladies and gentlemen, on that eventful day, I did not win the match. After all, I was fighting against one of the best players in India. But according to me, I had clinched one of the biggest victories in my life. That is the fear of facing the fighter and fighting. I had overcome that fear that day. I strongly believe that one cannot just run away from fear, but rather has to face and overcome them. On that day, the 11-year-old me fought against a fear, and eventually I progressed to become a very good taekwondo player, winning many more medals in different tournaments. And today I stand in front of you to proudly say that I am a national level taekwondo medalist. All I want to say and conclude is by quoting that let us not just fear or run away from fear, let's face it and overcome them. Fear is not just forgetting everything and running. It is facing everything and rising. If I hadn't faced that fear that day, all the wonderful tournaments and matches that I won later, I would not be able to embrace them. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Suruthi, for that wonderful speech. It sounded painful, especially when I imagined the roundhouse kick to the face. I'm glad that you recovered and you made a wonderful speech out of it today. Before we move on to the fourth speaker for today, I do have a small change in the agenda for tonight. After the fourth speaker, we will have the guest speaker come in and speak, and then after that, move on to the fifth speaker. This as per the request from our Vice President of Education from Chennai Wordsmiths. Is everyone okay with this? All right, everyone gives their thumbs up. So let's move on to our fourth speaker, on the way to our guest speaker as well. The fourth speaker, the evaluator for the fourth speaker will be a Toastmaster since 2009, whose motto clearly defines him as it is, never forget the people who were with you when you were a nobody. Served as a gazetted officer for the Government of India before voluntarily retiring in 2019. He is a founder and CEO of Freedom 19, a startup which facilitates essential skills enhancement trainings along with coaching and mentoring. And to top it off, he is a two-time DTM. A martial artist practitioner cyclist, and fitness coach. Please everyone welcome the fourth evaluator for tonight, distinguished Toastmaster, Rajiv.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, DTM Khaled. My target speaker today, Toastmaster Maithili, is attempting her ACG 1 from the manual special occasion speeches. The assignment being Mastering the Toast, and she's coming up with a title, My First Love in My Heart. The objectives are recognize the characteristics of a toast, present a toast honoring an occasion or a person. Time allotted is 2 to 3 minutes. All the best, Toastmaster Maithili. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, DTM Khaled.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv. And now to our fourth speaker. She is known as the Iron Lady of the Chennai Wordsmiths. She was a past president and area director, and by profession, she is a lawyer. To do a special occasion speeches tonight, please everyone welcome Toastmaster Maithili.
Debt may end a life, but not a relationship. How many of you agree with me? Trust me when I say that whenever I appear in court and argue fiercely, or conduct a mediation in a family case, or give a speech like this before you, I can feel the presence of my Father, which reminds me of the quote that those who love, they don't move away. They walk beside you every day, unseen and unheard. Good evening, Toastmasters, friends and guests. You all want to know why I hold my dad so dear to my heart? In 1965, when Girl Child was considered as a liability, this man accepted me as an angel in his heart. I'm his frowning relative. He taught me how to ride a motorbike, Royal Enfield. When women those days were reluctant to take law as their profession, he made me study law. Born and brought up in a very conservative, orthodox Brahmin family, he gave me the liberty to marry the man of my life with all pride and happiness. And you won't believe that I did give him a lot of heartaches. To this wonderful man, when every relative was just swimming in inhibition, he gave me the liberty, but I did not give him the happiness. He wanted me to be 100% into the profession. That was his dream. But I was into my family life, bringing up my children. He did not give up. Constantly he used to say, Maithili, marriage is just a part of life, not your whole life. But nothing went into my ears. I was deaf then. He did not give up. What he could not achieve as a mortal being, he achieved when he achieved the divine mode in 2010. This Maithili is standing in front of you so confidently that day went into a devastating depression when she heard this soft, mesmerizing voice telling firmly, Maithili, I want my child, bold, confident, daring child, back on foot. I could feel a sudden surge to evolve myself, a divine push to rediscover myself. Guess what? I joined Toastmasters. And that miracle happened. Today, I am a trustable lawyer to so many destitute and desperate women. A confident Toastmaster who welcomes all the newcomers in the public speaking. All these I owe to my heart, which is full of love for my dad. He was a roaring practitioner on the criminal side in Cuddalore district of Tamil Nadu. Today, I may have a prince by my side, but he remains the king in my heart. And this toast is in fond memory of my first love, who remains in my heart forever. Not only to him, but to all the Toastmasters, friends, and guests here who hold their father so dear in their heart. So 3 cheers to you all. Over to the TMOD.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Maithili. That was a wonderful toast. I believe it is a nod to your name. It was a very mighty toast. And hopefully, because of the words and the way your father inspired you, all of us can hopefully in the future coalesce into a better environment for all. And now, Before I announce the next speaker, I would like to confirm, is the speaker present in the room?
Yes, Khaled.
All right. And now, fellow Toastmasters and guests, we are in for a treat. We do have a guest speaker tonight, and it is my great honor to have him or to introduce him tonight as well. This is the first time that I will be introducing a person of this caliber. This speaker is an esteemed guest. He is the runner-up of the 2015 World Championship of Public Speaking. He is a two-time TEDx speaker and a motivator and a coach. Please, everyone, welcome distinguished Toastmaster Aditya.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Do you hear me?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you again for the introduction, and thank you, Karthik, for inviting me to be part of the session. Karthik and I actually go a long way back to the times of Chennai Toastmasters, probably 12 years ago, Karthik. I can't even begin to imagine how long it is.
Right from 2006, Aditya.
Oh yeah, that's 14 years.
14 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you recognize me, Karthik?
Yes, very much. How could I forget you?
Okay. So, but Wordsmith is no stranger to me. I was part of the chartering ceremony of Wordsmith, I guess, in 2007. Wordsmith was just the second community club in all of Chennai. So Wordsmith carries a rich legacy of great members that you are aware of. So it's a pleasure to be with you today. I want the session to be as interactive as possible. So I'm going to leave you with some thoughts, but open it up for some questions in the time that we have left. My Toastmaster journey, as that's what's mentioned in the agenda, began 14, 15 years ago. And for the first 7 years in Toastmasters, I was predominantly in leadership roles. I was a club officer, then a district officer. I was hosting conferences. I was doing demo meetings. I was taking up roles that gave me a lot of joy at that point in time. But then unfortunately, or fortunately, I had to move out of Chennai to do my MBA in Hyderabad, and then quickly moved to Bombay, where I lived for 6 years after that. And now I live in London. So since I was hopping around quite a lot, I couldn't continue my leadership track in Toastmasters as much as I would have liked. So being the ardent Toastmaster like you, I decided, how do I use this opportunity to do something else? So then I got into public speaking, which is competitions. And that led me to represent India at the World Championship in Kuala Lumpur in 2014, in Vegas in 2015, and Vancouver in 2017. So that's really been my experience in Toastmasters Club. A small snippet, a jovial snippet to leave you with before I take questions is, I remember, because I was just telling this 10 minutes ago to a Toastmaster group in another part of the world, from which I jumped into this meeting now, is my early experiences in Toastmasters. I joined Toastmasters when I was still in college, in my engineering college. So I was in my late teens, right? 19 or 18, and probably 19. And when I joined the only club in Chennai at that time, Chennai Toastmasters, where the average age of the club was probably 45, right? And I was 20 or 19. And soon, being the enthusiastic member that I was, they found a scapegoat and made me the president of the club. And when I became the president of the club, I thought, great, awesome. There's nobody else in college who's doing stuff like this. And I'm the president of the Toastmaster Club. But soon I realized that I was in for a big shock. Because the stuff that I started getting on my table, because the average age of the club, remember, was around 45, was I used to get a senior member, a man, call me and say, things are not going well with that member. I want you to take action. And then this person would call me and say, I know this person is doing this. And I thought if I would to have met them outside of Toastmasters, I would have been calling them uncle, auntie, at that age. And here I am suddenly the leader, the president of the club, and I had to take tough decisions and tough calls. But then on retrospection, it is that experience where I did a lot of things wrong, I'm sure. I sent those emails because from a reaction mode, not a response mode, which I would have wanted to take back, but it was too late. I'm sure I could have made a few more calls that I did not. But it is those mistakes and those experiences that helped me in my profession later in life. Because in my profession now, I realize I never respond to bad emails at that moment. I wait for a few hours, and most of the time there is no need for a response because, hey, you can always pick the phone and clarify. So I would have never been able to be that mature without the experience in Toastmasters early on. So that's been my experience in Toastmasters. Karthik, let me pause. Sorry, Mr. Toastmaster, let me pause. And I would love to spend the remaining time that we have answering questions. And the questions can be about anything, about me, Toastmasters, public speaking, leadership, all of it.
Hey Aditya, I want to quickly share your screen and a photo. Maybe you would love this.
Oh, right, this one. Yeah, you know who spoiled the suspense for you? DTM Rajiv Mambia. He sent me this picture yesterday.
Yes.
But that's fantastic. That I think was way back in 2007 or 8.
Okay, can you brief us a little bit about your preparation during your 2015 championship? How was your preparation, and like, can you give us some tips on the preparation for your ISC contest?
Yeah, I can speak a lot about my journey, but I want to speak what will be useful for all of you when you prepare for your contests. Probably I'll leave you with one thought, because there could be thousands of tips. All of us focus a lot of time while making speeches, whether it be a club speeches, whether it be competition speeches. We focus a lot of time on certain activities. And what I'm going to offer you now is how much of return on investment is that time giving you? On what else can you focus that time on? The myth number one is that we need to focus a lot of time on selecting a topic, right? So a lot of my mentees come and ask me, Aditya, this is my topic. Will I win the world championship? My answer is, I don't know. The reason I don't know is because topic and your core message are two different things. Let me explain. I ask people to refocus the time spent on searching for a topic to what is my core message in my speech. Any topic can win a contest if you derive the right core message out of it. A good example is this. Suppose you want to talk about blood donation, right? Because 2 weeks ago, you probably, not now in the COVID, but 2 months ago, you donated blood and you got inspired by it and you want to make a speech out of it. Have you asked me, Aditya, can blood donation win me the world champion? I don't know. What are you trying to tell the audience? And then you and I start discussing. The way to select what the core message is the way to use your camera lens, zooming in and zooming out of the topic. If you zoom in too much into blood donation, the core message becomes the process of donating blood. Sign a form, go to a blood bank. That's not inspiring enough. Let's zoom out a little. What comes out of this topic? It's not about the process of blood donation. It's about how blood donation can save lives. It's good, but it's probably still only about blood donation. What about people who don't relate to that? Let's zoom out a little more. The topic is still blood donation, but my core message now is, what of yourself are you giving to the world? For me, it was blood to save a life. For you, it could be time with your loved one. For another person, it could be money to a charity. My story is still blood donation, but the message I'm drawing out of that is, what about yourself are you giving to the world? Now, can you win the world championship? Of course you can with this message. But you also run the risk of zooming out a little too much. If you zoom out too much, the message is purpose of life. No, that's too abstract. That goes over the top. So where should I stop zooming in and zooming out is where I decide what my core message is. In 2015, my speech was about my car getting scratched. Will that win me the world champion? I don't know. What's the core message? If I'm talking about my car getting scratched, everybody's car gets scratched, but I'm talking about a scratch stays only as long as you don't polish it. And scratches with loved ones are similar. So my offer to you is differentiate topic, message, and title. Topic is, say, blood donation or cricket or whatever you want to talk about. Core message is what you're giving to the audience at the end of the day. And title is just that fancy line that you call the highlight of the headline of your speech. So refocus time searching on what should I speak about, what's the topic, to what is the core message that I want to take out.
Thank you, Aditya. And we have Najla Kamber, who is asking, what ran into your mind when you were called the second runner-up?
Well, the first thing that ran in my mind was that, oh, I can compete again. Because the winner can't compete again, but I can compete again. Of course, at that moment, having got all the way from club, area, division, district had a semifinals, then district had a finals, then the semifinals of the world. So you're there at the top. So your laziness just wants you to, oh, can't I just win it and get it over with? Because if I have to come back again, I got to start all the way to prepare a new speech, isn't it? But once that laziness went away, I asked myself, if I had won it, that speech would end up defining who I am. That becomes your signature. You know, nobody remembers Mohammed Katani as Mohammed Katani. They remember, oh, you're the cigarette guy. People remember Dhananjay Hetirache as, oh, you're the icy something guy, right? So that speech becomes your signature at a world championship. And I asked myself, was scratch that speech in 2015? Did I really want that to be my signature for the rest of my life? And the truth is, no. I was still evolving as a public speaker. Yet. So in retrospection, I'm so thankful that I didn't win because now I have an opportunity to create a signature that is more true to who I am. In 2017, when I went to the finals in Vancouver, that speech, to me, in my own mind, was more true to who I am. I'm sure each of you would want to create a speech to make it a signature that's who you are.
Thank you, Aditya. And another question that I have is, there are two things that's important in Toastmasters. One is the leadership and the other one is public speaking or communication. So would you say that every good leader is a good communicator, or every good communicator is a good leader, or these are two different parallel things that you definitely have to hone your skills on?
Yeah. Every good leader is a good communicator in the sense a leader does not communicate through words. A leader communicates by the grace of their conduct or the way they behave, right? So a leader who just communicates by words may not get as much success as a communicator who just communicates by words. You can still get away as a public speaker by saying things which is not available for observation in yourself. But you can never get away as a good leader by just saying things which are not available for observation in yourself. I cannot, as a leader, ask people to do something which I don't do myself. And therefore, communication is a good skill to have, but it does not assure becoming a good leader, because is what you're saying available for observation for people to see in you requires practice of what you're saying. And therefore, both these skills are so intertwined. That's why two pillars of Toastmasters is leadership and communication. But leadership is beyond just speaking. It is putting that in action. A good leader is a person who knows the way, shows the way, and most importantly, goes the way.
Thank you, Aditya. Then we have Priyan asking you about how can a successful Toastmaster in the long run without being a world championship in public speaking or a district leader?
sorry, how to be a successful
how can one be a successful Toastmaster in the long run without being a champion or a district leader?
So I'm sorry to provoke you, but what's the point of being a successful Toastmaster? Being a successful Toastmaster is like saying, I want to be a millionaire in my dream. The moment you wake up, you can't cash in on that money. In your dream, you may be in Las Vegas and won a lottery. But what use is that lottery when you wake up in real life? You can't cash in that money. Similarly, being a successful Toastmaster, you're being a Toastmaster so that it helps you in real life. As one of our international presidents said, you learn in Toastmasters not to become better at Toastmasters. You learn in Toastmasters to become better outside of Toastmasters. So the success in Toastmasters is your everyday life at home, at work, with relationships. Is that becoming better? Is your everyday presentations, is your managerial role at work, is that becoming easier? So the success in Toastmasters is not defined inside Toastmasters, it's defined by your life outside of Toastmasters. It may not be being a CEO of a company, you could be a retired professional. Is your quality of life as a communicator, even to that vegetable seller, even to your grandkids, is that becoming better? So just becoming a district officer is not success in life. Still, it's a district officer, it's a leadership position inside the bubble. There's no meaning to it outside. But are you owning leadership skills by being a district leader? That you're able to become a better citizen in your country. You're able to become a better member of your community. Then you become a successful person. Hello there.
Hi, Aditya, Rajiv here.
Hi, Rajiv.
How are you? Good. Nice to see you long. Now, my question to you is, what makes Aditya tick?
Rajiv, we should not reveal our secret. You know the answer. Well, what makes me tick is what makes all of you tick. I believe that each of us, we may be interested in a lot of things, but we all have our natural inclination. From a philosophical tone, we can call it dharma, swadharma, whatever it is. But we are all naturally inclined towards certain things. In most activities, you have a flow state. You feel you would do it even if you're not paid to do it. You would feel you would do it without knowing how the time goes. For me, there are activities that give me that joy. The singer on stage, the singer would say, when I'm singing, I feel divine. For a cricketer playing the cover drive, Virat Kohli would say, when I'm playing the cover drive, I feel the divinity. A footballer may say that. Roger Federer will say, when I'm doing the backhand flip, I feel divine. These are natural inclination for those people. So I feel there are a few things that take me tick where I feel that natural inclination. One of that is definitely standing on stage and speaking to people. So the more you do that, the more you are when I was in 2011, Rajiv, I was in Chennai. I was working in Cognizant in Chennai. I used to feel such a discrepancy between what I was in weekends and what I was in weekdays. And what I told myself was, at least after my MBA, I would ensure that I get into a profession that is coherent to who I am, what are my natural inclinations. I got placed in a great company in Indian School of Business when I graduated, but it was still a product manager job. I wanted to get into leadership consulting. I wanted to get into management consulting because I knew that was where my calling is, my sweet spot is. So I rejected the job on campus, which meant I was jobless when I graduated out of ISB with a loan of 20 lakhs. But it was just a few months before which I cracked the job because I knew I was in flow state and I could crack a job in my profession. So my invite to all of you is find where you tick, but also be patient till you get there.
Thanks, Aditya. Great show.
Thanks.
Our area director Balamurugan has one question on how did you leverage Toastmaster experience in your profession?
Hi, Aditya.
Hello, Balamurugan. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you. How are you?
Very well. Thank you. How do I leverage Toastmasters at work? Oh, quite a lot. Quite a lot. You know, it's like a Chinese bamboo, isn't it? It's the famous cliche story of you planting the seed, and for 5 years you don't see anything. And then the 6th year, suddenly it sprouts up and becomes a big plant. So very similar in Toastmasters. You don't see progress at an everyday level. You don't see progress even at an every year level. And then you ask yourself, does it really benefit me in any way? Because I seem to be the same person I was 2 years later. But there's an inflection point, which is different for each of us. After which you're a Chinese bamboo. You clearly grow faster than others. So I found, Balamurugan, in my career, by the time I was in my mid-20s, and this is, I'm not saying this out of ego, I'm just saying it out of observation. I was clearly able to communicate better than the other 25-year-olds in my company. And that's got nothing to do with me. That's just because I had put in 2,000 hours of practice in Toastmasters, which they hadn't. Right? If you tell me today, Aditya, I'm afraid on stage, my question is, how many hours on stage have you been? And you would say, oh, in my 4th grade, I spoke on stage. Then in my college valedictory ceremony, I spoke. That's all. So then how can you be confident on stage? You've done 2 hours of stage time in your life. So putting 2,000 hours, 3,000 hours, 4,000 hours by the time I was 25, 26, made me more competent at that skill at work than others. But never did I tell people at work that I'm a Toastmaster, because that can work against you. They would say, oh, here's the Toastmaster. Let your skill do the talking, not the fact that I'm a Toastmaster, I'm a DTM and all of that. Within Toastmasters, of course, you do all of that, write all your badges and all of that. But outside of Toastmasters, it's your skill that needs to do the talking. I remember when I got back from Las Vegas in 2015 and I told my boss I ended up being the first runner-up at the world champion. He said, oh, speak something. I was like, I froze. What do I speak? And he said, you became the world champion? So Toastmaster is not an open invitation for others to test you. The way you behave and speak at an everyday level should validate that you're a Toastmaster. So that's how it's really helped me in my profession. Differentiating started as a 2% difference, then it became a 20% difference. The moment you reach that inflection point, then you are in the right place.
Excellent response. Thanks.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Aditya. I think that's all the time that we had, but I think amongst all the other 53 participants that we have in this room, they have a lot of questions to ask, but I don't think we have all the time in the world for it. But I hope perhaps maybe we can coalesce all our questions together, send it over, and he could answer for us so that, we can sleep better at night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to come in TMOD.
Sure.
Thank you. This is Toastmaster Karthikeyan. I thank Aditya Maheshwaran for accepting this invitation when I asked him for the first time itself. Thank you so much, Aditya. It's a pleasure to catch up with you after 14 long years. Thank you for coming and sharing your knowledge with us and your experience with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Karthik, and lovely to meet good old friends on the chat, Priyanandan, Rajiv, and all of you. And all clubs in Chennai has a special place in my heart. So I try my best not to say no to any invitation from Chennai. And that's especially applicable to Wordsmith as well. Thank you.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Aditya. Thank you, Karthik, for giving us this opportunity. I think this has been an honor for all of us, especially for the club Young Adult Toastmasters, because we never had such a guest of honor amongst us all. Thank you so much. And I think we have a lot to learn. And I love the approach, which was very different. And I think we are quite more responsive to it than the traditional Q&As that we've been having back home in our own home country. I think we will take a lot home, and we feel a lot at home with the Chennai Wordsmiths. And now we go back onto our agenda to save on time, because not only am I managing the meeting tonight, I will also do my best to maintain that we stay on time. So we move to our final speaker for tonight. Now this speaker before I introduce the speaker, I would like to again call the evaluator for the speaker, who is none other than a Toastmaster who is also the second of the two longest staying members of the Young Adult Toastmasters Club. She is steadfast and as zen as the rocks and gems that she loves and collects. She is the co-owner and partner to the Cumber Designs and Media Company, and she is also the sister to Toastmaster Nedra Cumber and the in-law to the Master of Ceremony that you see before you, and which is, she does not mind being related to me, thankfully. It's not much more of a punishment as it is to my wife. To give the objectives for the 5th evaluator, please everyone welcome our current area director for our region. Please welcome Toastmaster Nedra Cumber.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Khaled, Master of Ceremonies. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, afternoon here, good evening over there to everyone. And to our speaker, our last speaker for the evening, which would be Toastmaster Balamurugan, if I pronounced it correctly. He will be doing the interpersonal communication manual from the legacy program, doing his ACG, and I believe this is one of his last few speeches left before he finally achieves his distinguished Toastmaster status. Almost there. He's going to be doing the Project 5, which is Asserting Yourself, and his objectives are to enjoy the mental and physical benefits of being assertive and employ the 4-step method for addressing a problem and asking for help, and finally to overcome resistance to your requests. Now, he will be taking 10 to 14 minutes, but timer Toastmaster Sarah, if you can please note this because this is a little bit complex, but I'm sure it's pretty easy for you to follow. So he will first be doing a 4 to 5 minute speech on being assertive, and then he'll be doing a 3 to 5 minute scene, like a role play with his partner, and then he would take 2 to 3 minutes for a question and answer session. Toastmaster Sarah, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense, but I have a question regarding the cards, the coloring cards. Is it gonna, in the 3 parts that he's performing, he should be see the color or like the overall?
Last time when I did this particular project, you would time it individually, so 4 to 5 minutes. So that's 5 red. I think it's like 4:30 is yellow, and then
yes.
Yeah,
So,
and
okay,
the same for other 3.
All right.
Perfect.
Sure. All right.
Thank you so much. Best of luck to our speaker, Toastmaster Balamurugan. Good luck. Back to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nedra. And now, to our last speaker for the night. He started his Toastmasters journey in 2017 and currently serves as an area director. His journey to reach his advanced communicator gold has taken 39 months, and tonight will be his crowning distinguished Toastmaster speech. Please everyone welcome together. Let's coalesce and welcome our speaker for tonight. Please everyone, Toastmaster, and hopefully soon to be distinguished Toastmaster, Balamurugan.
Thank you. Am I audible? Perfect. Good evening, Toastmasters of both the clubs. It is a coalescence or collaboration between these 2 clubs. It's an awesome opportunity to perform my DTM speech. This project is all about assertiveness, how assertive we are with effectiveness. I'm really excited to deliver about assertiveness, which is the need of the hour in the business arena as well as in the society. It has got 4 steps. Before getting into the 4 steps, if a maid comes to your home and washes the dishes, if she's not washing properly, what you'll do? What are the choices? 1, you may yell at her. 2, you can live with that. 3, you can wash after she washes the dishes, right? So these are the 3 things. But being assertive will give a leverage to express what is your point of view, what is your concern. It has got 4 steps in that. Number 1, stating the problem statement. You no need to wait for about 10 days or 1 month to tell the concern. You need to immediately convey the message. That is problem statement number 1. How to convey the message? Next comes the feelings. How you feel about it, how you felt about it. Then third comes the solution. What can be done differently? Why? How the feelings can be addressed or concerns can be addressed. The 4th point, which comes to place, is consequences. If you do this, what would be the consequence? For example, an housemaid comes and washes the dishes, and you are going there and saying that this is not clean. This is not. You should not yell at her, but you should convey the message. It's not clean. You can share the feelings like it has to be clean and tidy so that it will be hygienic. Otherwise, infections may come in, including you and we will get affected. That has to be conveyed in a proper manner. What would be the solution? The solution would be cleaning the vessel properly. If the cleaning aid is not appropriate, we need to help with some good cleaning agents. So what would be the consequences? Because of this, whoever have the food will not get affected. There won't be any room for disease. That is what COVID-19 also taught us, right? So with that, how we can demonstrate this? This project gives that edge to engage a role player. I have a role player today where we are going to have a play on a scenario. What kind of scenario it is? This guy is my driver. His name is Manar. I engaged him to take my daughter to college and drop her. Again, he has to pick up and come back in the evening. So he used to clean the car, and there is a concern around that, which we are going to demonstrate. I request Toastmaster Nikhil. Toastmaster Nikhil.
Yeah,
the
hello.
Role player. So you are the role player, driver Manar.
Yeah, hi.
Driver Manar. Right? It starts like this because it's the first time we are doing an online a role player. There is no body language, much body language or scenario. Please bear with us. Manar, how are you today?
Yeah, it's going, sir. It's quite busy schedule for me today, so it's fine. Yeah.
See, I'm seeing you're cleaning the car perfectly. You're applying the wax to the car. It's shining like heroine. Everybody turns and sees our car. However, you are using the cloth to clean the car and wipe the car, and you are putting back that cloth in the door panel. So that stings at times. That bothers me. Why I'm saying this is, it may have some external infections that can spread to us, to you as well as for me, and to my daughter as well as somebody who's traveling in that car, right? So what is the issue in terms of not following that?
Sir, I was actually, initially I was keeping the cloth in the trunk, and I used to open the trunk and take the cloth and clean the car. But after some time, I felt that while I'm driving, there is always the birds around the car that is sitting on the glass. So it will be difficult for me to get down and take the cloth and clean the car and then keep the cloth and then sit down. So instead of that, I can just put down my window, take this cloth out, clean the glass, and then keep the slot. So it is very comfortable for me, sir. It is
Yeah, lost the signal. I got your point. See, I understand that you need to take the cloth from the trunk each and every time. That consumes more time for you, and it is a painful thing. I can propose a solution where you can have a box kind of thing.
Okay.
So that that cloth will not get exposed outside.
Okay.
Can be put in the box. Next day you can wash it with Dettol or something like that. Again, you can use it. After wiping, you can dip it in the Dettol and put it in the box, so that that will help. Dettol or any disinfectant for that matter, right? So what will happen because of this? What would be the consequences? The consequences will be you will be healthy, and the passenger will be healthy, and whoever comes as a guest for us, we're taking them for various places, they'll be healthy. This will help us to be more hygienic, and our life would be better. Can you do that here and after?
Yes, me being a driver, I'm not so qualified and I don't have an educational background, but I'm so blessed to have an owner like you to educate me about this. And I didn't have idea of keeping this box inside the car so that I can even be easy for me to not get out of the car and as well as clean the car whenever it's useful. So thank you so much for this suggestion, sir. I'll definitely take it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Nikhil. Nikhil, I'll come back to you. I will have some word to the audience.
Okay.
See, if you watch this conversation, the role play, it has got implemented all those 4 steps. Problem statement, directly I mentioned to him what is the problem, my concern. Second, I said what is the feeling which I get because of that. Third, I mentioned the solution. I specified the solution. This should be a solution so that it can be implemented easily. And what would be the consequences because of that solution? This is how it is, the hygienic front. So covered all the 4, and we did a role play. It's a challenging one in online. What do you think, Nikhil? First, I'll put a question to you. What do you think? Where we would have done better in this?
Sir, I think this is this was very nice because first time we are trying an online and I am able to see your face and you are able to see my face. We don't have any audience distraction. And this is moreover like a conversation that is in a car. So I think this was very nice for me. We would like to hear it from the audience and members.
Fantastic. Audience, please, anybody can step in and said what we would have done better, what we have done better. That is also motivating, right? Open to audience.
So the solution which you propose to the driver, right?
Yeah.
It should be feasible for the driver too, because he said it is more easy for him to keep the cloth, near him. So if he keeps in the box or something, it is similar to the trunk which he already had.
For the trunk, he has to get down and go back. Each and every time he has to pick the cloth. Box near that driver's seat, he can put it and close it so that it will not expose to the atmosphere or inside the car. That's the. Thanks, Sangeetha, for that point. Maybe we missed to explain that in a manner that does not reach. I agree.
Disconnect the mark.
Yes.
Bala?
Yeah.
Maybe he could have suggested one more thing because he's using his hands on the screen. So how about taking another bottle of water so his hands don't become dirty, and when he again touches the steering, maybe additionally you can say that. So it is more hygienic during this time.
Super. COVID-19 educated everyone. 2
Yeah, that's right. Too much.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sorry.
Sorry. I do have a question, Bala Morgan.
Right.
If we're talking about assessing or expressing assertiveness, now in the scenario you gave and the role play, what would happen or how would you undertake if, let's say, the driver would not understand or it escalated into a conflict? So how can we be careful in, while trying to be assertive, not unnecessarily create conflict as well? Because that's why many of us fear.
That's a valid point. The body language, the modulation matters a lot there. So if it sounds like yelling at him, definitely, even if it is a valid thing, he will not do. Right? Number one. We need to recognize and empathy. Empathy comes in. In the project, it was not mentioned. Based on my experience, first empathize. Then what is happening, then no, we can. I think time is up and we can have offline discussions. Thank you. Thank you for that. Or to TMOD.
டோர் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணுவோம். இது வைஃபை வெளியே போயிடுமா? வைஃப் வெளியே போயிடுவாங்கம்மா.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Balamorgan. I think that was a very wonderful workshop that you've done in helping us to be more assertive, especially in times of need like we have right now, where we need to be a little bit more assertive to make sure that us and our loved ones stay safe. And with that, that ends the prepared speeches session. We had a wonderful coalescence of 5 wonderful speakers tonight. And I'm sure later on we will be having a wonderful coalescence of beautiful evaluators as well, led by the general evaluator. Since we already passed our guest speaker session, we now move into one of my most favorite parts of a Toastmaster meeting, which is the table topics session. And today we have a table topics master who is worthy of this role and will be taking our table topic sessions to brand new heights. Welcome the table topic master for tonight or today, whichever, or worldwide. An aspiring Toastmaster she is. She is currently serving as a vice president of the membership for the Chennai Wordsmiths Toastmasters Club. By profession, she is a program manager in Renault Nissan Technologies in Chennai. Today, she's going to be your table topics master. Please, everyone, welcome Toastmaster Sangeetha.
Thank you, Toastmaster DTM Khaled, for that wonderful introduction. It makes me smile. So, do you all hear me? Yes. Thank you. So I'm the table topic master for today's meeting, as Khalid said. So for the benefit of guests, table topics is a session which helps the members to think on their feet on a given topic. They will be given a topic. They should speak on the spot for 1 to 2 minutes. To qualify for the voting, the members should speak. The qualified timings would be 1 minute. Minimum time is 1 minute, and the intermediate time will be 1.5 minutes, and the upper limit is 2 minutes, and they need to wrap up within 30 seconds. So shall we move on to the table topic session? I'll share my screen to reveal the topics. Please let me know once you see my screen. One minute.
Yeah, visible. Screen is visible.
Yeah. Okay. So, so the first speaker I would call is Toastmaster Manish. Toastmaster Manish, please pick up any one number from the slot.
Number 5, ma'am.
Yeah. So share a funny or crazy experience during this lockdown, Manish. Over to you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and my friends over here. For me, lockdown itself is a very funny thing because I've just finished my college and I'm yet to search for a job. So practically every single day is like a lockdown to me. Like what I do is I wake up, I do my work, I sleep, I study, and that's how every single day goes. And suddenly one evening they said there's going to be a lockdown and people should be there inside their houses 24/7. I wondered, okay, this could be something not new for me because I've been doing this for the past 2 weeks. And okay, to share a funny incident is that the day I had to face my father one-on-one, and the conversation that we had is so funny because me and my father won't spend more than 8 hours in one home. Either he is going to be busy or I'll be busy in my work. But then there was this particular day in this lockdown where both of us had to have this very weird emotions of sharing this house together. So he started so as we were going on throughout the day, my father gave me a table topic, like, what are you going to do in your life? I said, yes, great. Now I can go ahead and do whatever I want, and I can do my further studies. And I couldn't ask him the same, because if he was my friend, I would have asked it. And the weird conversations with father are actually very weird for lockdowns. And I think most of you had gone through it. Over to you, tabletop master.
That was wonderful, Manish. Thank you. So I'll share my screen again. And our next table topic speaker is Toastmaster Pal Bhaskaran. Toastmaster Pal Bhaskaran, please let me know any number from this lot.
Okay. I will prefer 12.
12, but
12.
Okay. So
am I audible? 12.
Yes, sir. So the topic is one thing you wanted to change in this lockdown period, but you can't. Could you please share with us, Toastmaster Pal Bhaskaran, one thing you wanted to change, but you can't? Over to you.
Yes. Yeah, first of all, one thing you wanted to change, but you can't. Yeah. One thing you want to change. Thank you very much, Master.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. So let us go for move for the next table topics speaker is, let me welcome Toastmaster Mustafa.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. So let me share my screen. So Mustafa, let me know any number from this lot.
7.
7. So Toastmaster Mustafa, your close friend visits your home. Will you allow him? Support your points. Toastmaster Mustafa, your close friend visits your home. Will you allow him or not? Support your point. Over to you.
Okay, good afternoon and good evening, everyone. Will I allow my friend to visit me? The question suggests that he already or they already have visited me, so they're at my door. I think at that point, it would be difficult for me to dismiss them, even though that the situation clearly suggests that we all practice social distancing. I think looking at the amount of risk, the risk in this situation, I would assess it as not extremely high. So I would let them in and I would try to keep the distance within our house, not very alarming, not in an alarming state, because they have already arrived at my house. However, if someone suggests over the phone or by text that they would want to visit, I think it would be easier to dismiss that this would be possible and maybe delay it or seek another way to make it happen, because the current situation calls for us to do the best that we can to alleviate any possible problems that might happen because of these social interactions. And that's my stance in this situation. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mustafa. So next, our table topic speaker would be Arun Abraham. Arun Abraham, do you see my screen? And let me know the number you want to choose. Arun?
Sangeetha, looks like he has not joined.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Mithun.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes. So will you pick a number from the slot?
It is 7.
7. Your lucky number. So Toastmaster Mithun, your close friend. Oh, sorry. The same thing. Okay. So this is your Toastmaster Mithun. Get caught by a policeman when you're out. How will you convince and escape? Get caught by a policeman when you're out. How will you convince and escape? Toastmaster Mithun.
Yeah. A warm good evening to all the Toastmasters here in Chennai Wordsmiths and in Bahrain. One problem which we all face while going out is getting caught by the policeman, because we have seen the social media that people are getting beaten up for violating the lockdown, and it is hard for us to explain it to the law enforcement personals. Having a valid reason, without a valid reason, I won't be heading out, because we know the problems which are arising due to going out, and being a vivid traveler, I travel a lot. So I can't sit in a place for more than a week, and staying at home is quite a little problem. So explaining it to the police without a valid reason, it will be hard to explain it to the policeman. I'll just give a reason of going for a medical purpose, because that is a valid reason which we can give to bail out of that situation. And also we know that without a valid reason we can't head out, so I'll give that reason to bail out of that situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mithun. So next, I would like to invite Sarah. Sarah, are you ready? I'm sharing my
ready,
screen.
but informing you, I am the timer, so.
Yeah, because only few people from your club. So can you pick a number?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with 10.
10. So, Toastmaster Sarah, which role will you prefer to serve in this lockdown period? A healthcare worker or a vegetable vendor? Which role will you prefer to serve? A healthcare worker or a vegetable vendor? Toastmaster Sarah.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sangeetha. Good evening to you all once again. Well, to be honest, I'm a person who I always aim to help people, and especially in such a situation that we are at, I believe a healthcare person is more important than the vegetable vendor. So I would rather be on the line, even though I am endangering my life and even my family, but as long as other people are surviving because of my sacrifice, then I would do that. I would pick that option. Because to be honest, it upsets me that I heard that some doctors and some healthcare personnel are trying to run away from the situation, even though when they studied this, they were committing to do their job 100%. So if we have the opportunity as people who are sitting at home to give the support, even if it's not major medical care, even if it's just supplying medicine, I would love to take this opportunity to do this to my community and to my country, because this is the least thing we can do in this situation. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Sarah. Next, I would like to call Toastmaster Vijay. Toastmaster Vijay. Okay, it seems he's not there. Toastmaster Sukesh. Toastmaster Sukesh.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. So let me know once you see my screen. So pick a number.
3.
Okay. So share your new learnings in this lockdown period. Toastmaster Sukesh,
Yeah.
share your new learnings in this lockdown period.
Good evening, Toastmasters. And I have learned so many things because, first of all, what I learned after my marriage, I am spending my time to my parents after my marriage. After 10 years, I am staying without any going out or anywhere. I am staying alone with that parents. So that is the first learning I got it, because after marriage, we never spend with parents without any busy schedules, because always will we come here for 1 or 2 days, then we will be go with 1 or 2 hours only stay, then we'll be say, hey, we need to go out, or such a busy life. So this learning period will get a much impressive, and I will be learn a lot, because here it's a village area. I can stay calm and I don't want to go out. I can stay with my family itself, and also with kids and family members. So that gives a lot learning to me, especially my busy schedule into office. So I will go with my back pains and everything. Now I am working from home, so that also got to my health wise also I got improvements. So this lockdown will be a lot of challenges, but how we can overcome. So changes always we need to make and adjust. So that is the learning I got it from this lockdown period. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sukesh. So that's all. We have come up to the end of this table topic session. Sorry for the interruption, because some of the guys were not there when we call up. So over to you, Toastmaster of the day. Sorry for all the technical glitches and so on. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sangeetha, for a wonderful table topic session. I appreciated the, the PowerPoint with the selections. That was very creative. Thank you very much. To save on time, we will now move back to the general evaluation session, in which we will be evaluated by our general evaluator. Before I hand the control back to her, I would like to say that I am glad that we all coalesced together here today and that we've learned very well, and hopefully we can continue to coalesce together and make sure that this community be as coalescent as ever. To the general evaluator, please welcome back Toastmaster Maram Al Aradi.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening and good afternoon, everyone. This was quite an amazing meeting. We will, to save on time, actually, I would call upon the evaluators of individual evaluators of the speakers. So can we have the first evaluator of the second speaker, Toastmaster Abhishek? Can we please have DTM Abraham to evaluate, to deliver his evaluation?
Thank you, General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters of both clubs and my good friends, good evening. Evaluation is an objective appraisal. And the purpose of this evaluation is to college the communication skills to make this good speech a great speech. Toastmaster Abhishek, I'm impressed with your message that listen more to my wife than speaking or screaming at her. Coming to the organization of your speech, I'll be sharing with the opening, body, and the conclusion. The opening is made very impressive, and you made it inquisitive as you were talking about a girl walking in the park. And also, you asked a question to the audience to bridge a gap between the audience and the speaker. Coming to the body of the speech, the body of the speech had 4 points: direct communication, supportive communication, and analytical communication, and so on. For analytical communication, you said about in length with the right examples. The incident had 2 more characters, your boss and the client. What that the example, you could inform us, you could narrate to us, you could communicate to us about the direct, supportive, and analytical communication. Coming to the delivery of your speech, you have a good language, you have a good communication, English communication skill. Your diction and flow and narrations were very good. Also, you had a good eye contact with the audience. And whatever I could see, you are best, I must say. Your gestures were appreciable. And I must say, congrats, because you have successfully completed the manual requirements. Now it is my challenge to make your good speech a great speech. So I have a few points. The first is all about the topic selection. Equity share price movement of a company and the index movement of the share may not be understandable by many because it has many nuances in it. A simple topic could have been better in this international meeting. Secondly, you could have had more humor. You could have had some more humor to make it more lively. And the third one is that you could have closed it with a punch. Say that no insider trading. What I like the best in your speech is you connected all these very well, and you told us that communication is a college which has many shades. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DTM Abraham. I'm sure Toastmaster Abhishek will take these feedback into consideration. Moving on to our next evaluator, may I please call upon Toastmaster Akbar Khan to evaluate Toastmaster Anusha. Toastmaster Maram, just a point here. Toastmaster Akbar just messaged us saying that he has an urgent call, so he would like to be moved to the last evaluation if possible.
All right, no worries. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Najla. I did not notice the message. We will be moving on to our third evaluator. Can I please welcome Toastmaster Najla Kamber to evaluate Toastmaster Shruti?
Hi. Yes, thank you so much, General Evaluator Toastmaster Maram. Good afternoon, good evening to all Toastmasters present. I would like to applaud Toastmaster Shruti for an amazing, enthralling speech. She passed this project with flying colors, mainly because the speech itself was a full-on story, and I love that. Now, I would like to point out all the things that she was amazing at, including she was enthralling, she captivated the audience with a story. The best part was that she asked the audience, she interacted with the audience by simply asking for a raise of hand and ask the question. So that point itself brings all the audience to focus on you. That is a key point that every speaker should notice, especially now with everything being online. It is hard to focus on the speaker. So to ask a question to the audience, it snaps them back like, okay, this person is speaking to me, so I would like to listen. So that is a very good thing that she did in her speech, and I love that. Her story itself was very vivid. I loved how the construction of her speech was. She is a true wordsmith of Chennai. So great for that. She completely transported us into her story. We were there with her. We felt that roundhouse kick to our faces. We were also on the ground with her, trying to figure out whether or not we're going to beat this person or not. And I love that her strong message about facing fears is just, it's very true, and it's very powering there in her speech. So she excelled in those areas and so much more. Now, there are some areas that I'd love to see in her next speech going forward, is that I love how courageous she was to actually stand up in front of the camera, which is great because you can tell that she has a lot of room. So she has a chance, next on, is to use the right and left side of her screen to designate different parts of her speech. In her speech today, she was only standing in the middle. So if she could do the intro on the right side, and then the body on the left and in the middle, and then conclude at the middle of the frame of the camera, I think that would just improve her storytelling even more. Finally, is to pause after your conclusion, just before you say back to you, Toastmaster of the day, because I felt like it was abrupt. So if she just said her last conclusion, paused, look at the camera, let the words sink in to the audience, and then said, back to you, Toastmaster Day. It would make it more impactful, to her story more impactful. So to challenge yourself moving forward, congratulations, you did an amazing job. Just to find a way to designate your speech in different areas in the camera frame that you have. This is a very interesting, creative way to do it. And to slow down in some areas of your speech. And don't forget to pause after your conclusion to add more power to your message. Congratulations, Toastmaster Shruti, for the amazing job. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nada. That was very detailed evaluation, as always. Can we please call us and welcoming our fourth evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv, to evaluate Toastmaster Maithili.
Am I audible? Hello?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Respected Madam General Evaluator, Toastmasters guests, and Toastmaster Maithili in particular, good evening. Today, Toastmaster Maithili
We can't hear you, Rajiv. Sorry, we can't hear you.
with the project Raising a Toast from the Special Occasion Speeches manual, wherein the main objective was to recognize the characteristics of a toast and to also either honor an occasion or a person in particular. Toastmaster Maithili was quick to inform her intention as to who she was going to raise a toast. Now, able? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Is it audible?
Yeah.
My video is on. All right, I'll start again.
It's not.
Respected Madam General Evaluator, Toastmasters, guests and my speaker, Toastmaster Maithili in particular, good evening. Today, Toastmaster Maithili began her ACG1 with the project Raising a Toast from the Special Occasion Speeches manual, wherein the main objectives was to recognize the characteristics of the toast and to either honor an occasion or a person in particular. Now, Toastmaster Maithili was quick to inform her intention as to who she was going to raise.
I think, Rajiv, you should speak closer to the mic.
Was very well put forward, which highlighted respect for the person being toasted. She was quick to get into the points about her father and give us all a rush of information, which would have actually left us all with an information overload. While delivering her toast, while you can hear me better now? Hello?
I think you should speak closer to the mic.
Internet is slow. Maybe I can sit down. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly, Rajiv.
While delivering her toast, what I noted was that her pace of delivery, that is the rate of speech, was apt for the occasion. In other words, she showed no signs of rushing through her project. Though the duration was only 2 to 3 minutes, she had good transitions which were used by the speaker when and where required during the toast. Now, coming to the recommendation part, what I feel was lacking was the absence of vocal variety during the short and sweet toast of her beloved father. Rather, the speaker had a monotonous tone, which in my opinion, didn't give the much needed thrust for the speech to hit the jackpot. The conclusion of the toast also required a better and more effective punchline to drive in the message to the toasters that now you know why he is so special to me and why I'm raising a toast. So, honor him. For example, you could have concluded by saying, it is said that there is always a woman behind a man's success. But all I can say is my father has been the catalyst behind my life becoming king size, because you use the word king size. And then say to the audience, to my king, I raise a toast. That would have been apt. Well, to sum up, all I can say is today, Toastmaster Maithili came up on stage and raised a toast with pinpoint accuracy, keeping it short and simple. And the next time around, while raising a toast, either to honor a person or an occasion, if she incorporates the feed forwards I have provided her, then I can say with profound conviction that she will become not only just an ordinary toaster, but an effective one for sure. Back to you, respected Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv, for that amazing evaluation. Can we move towards our fifth evaluator? Please let us coalesce together and welcome Toastmaster Neda Kumber.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator, for help Toastmasters. Good evening to you all, and fellow Area Director, Toastmaster Bala. Good evening. Now let's get on to the very nice and quick evaluation I'm going to try to portray. Now, our speaker for this evening had delivered a very eloquent, clear, and concise division of speech. Am I audible? Okay, perfect.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to be dividing this evaluation into the 3 parts that our speaker had delivered. So the speech overall, and then the role play, as well as the question and answer section. So the speech itself was very clear. It was the flow was pretty perfect, and the organization wise, it was very clear, and it was concise, and it was very, it had a nice flow to it. He was able to adapt a complicated speech, what seems like a complicated speech, and turn it into a very simple and very clear for everyone to understand. I've tackled this speech as well, this project as well, so I understand that it's a little bit of a struggle and it's super long. So he was able to deliver it very spectacularly. He described and explained the methods, the 4 methods, which was state the problem, tell your feelings, specify the solution, and describe the consequences. And he was able to adapt another example situation to make it clear for everyone to understand, so which was perfect. And the role-playing part, it was very enjoyable to watch, especially with this whole virtual thing and the screen changed from one person to the other. It was really nice and pretty enjoyable. And he was very assertive with the issue, and as well as he gave about 2 solutions on how to tackle the issue, which was to put the rag in the box and then take the rag, clean it, and then even take the rag and even clean the rag itself with the Dettol, and then put it in the box and then do what the driver does. And then moving on to the question and answer session, it was very well done. He was able to answer all the questions very eloquently, and it was actually pretty perfect. And so the overall speech was very well done. Congratulations, Toastmaster Bala. I'm sure this is your last speech, but I do have a couple challenges for you to help you when you tackle your pathways, because this is very fun. So first thing I want to challenge you is to, when this kind of scenario based or role playing based speeches come along, have a more challenging topic. The topic that you've chosen is the driver has to the rag is dirty when the driver is cleaning the car, and it's smelling, and it's not good for the atmosphere. So maybe we can have the next round, maybe you can have a more challenging situation, and the other person could be a lot more assertive for himself. Like it would be very difficult for you to really tackle and be assertive for yourself. So that way you have your own set of challenge, and you'll be able to really, it'll be hard to break down that wall between you and the other person. So that's a really fun challenge to take up. And the second thing I want to challenge you to do is come up with a very creative way of the title, because your title was assertiveness. So that kind of ruins the surprise for everybody. So maybe a challenge is you could come up with a creative title that could be something, in this case, could be something like clean that rag, or let's solve this. Something that would give mystery to the speech, so people will want to really listen to it. Other than that, you're a very eloquent speaker, and congratulations on achieving your distinguished Toastmaster status. Well done. I look forward to seeing your name up as Distinguished Toastmaster Balamuragan soon. Well done. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Neda Kamber. And finally, we have our final speaker, our final evaluator. Can we please welcome inclusiveness? I'm not sure if it is grammatically correct, but Toastmaster Akbar Khan.
Thank you, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmaster. Good afternoon and good evening in India. Twing, twing, twing. Passenger, your kind attention, please. Train number 12653, Rockford Express from Anusha Har to Toastmaster meeting has departed. Toastmaster Anusha, you had a great punchline, opening line for us. I know there was few technical error, like we weren't able to get you properly, but since you have shared your speech, so I can able to get from that way. So this is where I'm getting it. And you started very well. And the best thing, what I like about your confidence, you are so prepared. When I went to your speech, you are so prepared that you didn't miss a point. You didn't miss any transaction of your speech. You are, so that's so that you have done your homework very, very well. You have been practicing a lot, and you delivered this speech very delicately and very efficiently. Just there was some technical error that can be, it's a technical error, so it's not a human error. Second things what I loved about that is you had a very confidence. You knew where to stop, you knew what to speak, you knew everything. That's show that key a true Toastmasters journey. There are a few challenges like which I want to recommend on your journey when you are writing a content. Like I know it's very your content is superb when you are writing about your struggle. You wrote about how you start your journey from Rockford to and you face some difficulties in your journey. You overslept, and so in that we didn't find the transaction so the transaction has to be very proper mentioned. And the last thing is, which I mentioned, pause. So when you pause, your transaction showcase. So you have to pause. Maybe like you are very in your hurry position to finish your speech, but you need to pause and deliver your speech. Apart from that, these are the few recommendations from my side, and I wish you, I know that you have to apply this feedback on your second speech. So I wish you all the best, and I will give my feedback on the online form, which I already have, and all the best for your next speech. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Akbar Khan. And that concludes the individual evaluators individual evaluation session. With the request, with the permission of the presidents, may I please propose an extension of 15 minutes of the meeting because we are over time.
Yes, I second that.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Najla Kamber. I'll be moving on with my general evaluation session. I'll start off with the tag report. May I please call upon Toastmaster Sara Tahir to give out her timer's report for the prepared speakers, the table topic speakers, as well as the evaluators.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Toastmaster Maram Al Aradi. I'll start with the speakers. We have speaker Anusha, 6 minutes 35 seconds. Toastmaster Abhishek, 7 minutes 13 seconds. Toastmaster Shruti, 6 minutes 1 second. Then I have Toastmaster Mithli, 3 minutes 18 seconds. Then I have speaker Adi Bala. So for each part, I'm going to say that part number 1, 3 minutes 50 seconds. Part number 2, 3 minutes 15 seconds. Part number 3, 3 minutes 10 seconds. A total of 10 minutes 20 seconds. Now for the evaluators, I have first Toastmaster Akbar Khan, 2 minutes 44 seconds. Then I have Toastmaster Abraham, 3 minutes 15 seconds. Toastmaster Najla Kamber, 3 minutes 4 seconds. Toastmaster Rajiv, and let me say I restarted the time due to the technical difficulties, 3 minutes 17 seconds. And I have Toastmaster Neda Kamber, 3 minutes 30 seconds. For the table.
कितना केस आया? Am I right? आज बरन में कितना केस आया?
Okay, never mind. For the table topics speakers, first of all, I have Toastmaster Manish, 1 minute 40 seconds. Toastmaster Baskaran, 1 minute 14 seconds. Toastmaster Mustafa Mohammed, 1 minute 21 seconds. Toastmaster Mithan, 1 minute 24 seconds. Toastmaster Sarah, myself, 1 minute 2 seconds. Toastmaster Sukish, 1 minute 29 seconds. That's it, back to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sara Tahir. Just to confirm with you once again, who are the Toastmasters who are disqualified, or do we have any disqualifications?
I have Toastmaster Neda exactly at 3:30 seconds. So
it's fine.
It's
yeah,
fine.
It's fine.
We don't have disqualification.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sara. Sorry, I muted myself. I muted myself. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sarah Tahir. That was a very precise timer's report. Let us move forward to our counters report. Can I please call upon Toastmaster Arun to give out his report?
Hi, Maram, and hi, Toastmasters. So today, I'm going to be a little different today. So usually we have ahs and ums as the biggest problem in communicating, but with respect to online, we still have other difficulties like the technical difficulties as well, which adds on to this counters role. So today, if you see, there are a lot of members or a lot of speakers who had difficulties with their technical issues. Anusha, when she started her speech, she started well, but she had internet connectivity. So it would be always better to ensure your internet connectivity. Just a feedback from our counter. And Abhishek, no issues with respect to the passes or ahs and ums, but he had a speaker on couple of devices, so that caused a lot of echo. So that could be avoided. Shruti, no issues. Maithili used a short pass in between her speech. Bala 3+R, Bala Murugan 3+R, and his counter role play, Nikhil used once. Toastmaster Akbar Khan used 3+R, 2+like, and so were the repeated words. DTM Abraham Zakaria had no issues. Najla Kamber had no pauses or no issues with her speeches. Rajiv sir again had a technical issue, so it could be solved a little earlier before the call, just getting a test connection and verifying if everything is all good with the technical aspect. Nada Kamber again had no issues with respect to our counter. TD Speaker Master, Toastmaster Sangeetha repeated so multiple times, more than 3 times. Toastmaster Manish used 3 times, so 2 times, and us as a repeated word. Paul Bhaskaran had internet issues that could be sorted out. Toastmaster Mustafa did not have any issues. Toastmaster Mithun used 1 ha. Toastmaster Sarah 1 and a pass. Toastmaster Sukesh 3+so and used a. So far, General Evaluator had no issues, and back to you, General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Arun, for that amazing report. As you know, in the Young Adult Toastmasters Club, we are very strict in terms of the counter reports. So I actually counted 10 pause fillers plus for you just now while you're doing your report. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Arun. Moving on to our Grammarian Report, can we please have Toastmaster Muhammad Ismail so that to deliver the Grammarian Report. Can we have him on, please?
Thank you, Toastmaster. Hello and good afternoon to you all once again. Fair warning, I may have not noted down the number of uses for the word of the day coalesce accurately due to unforeseen technical difficulties. However, without further ado, my report goes as follows. DTM Khaled Ismail 8 times, Toastmaster Maram Al Aradi thrice, Toastmaster Abraham once, Toastmaster and soon to be DTM Bala Morgan once, resulting in a total number of 13 uses for the word of the day. Unfortunately, we had not hit the mark, just 2 uses shy. Still, kudos to those who have participated. I found the language quality to be good, and as for the accent, to be a mix between American, Asian, and Middle Eastern. Lastly, the quotes I've coalesced and had found particularly interesting on my list is by our esteemed guest of honor, DTM Aditya. A scratch stays as long as you don't polish it. I think this applies to all aspects of life, whether it be a car or a mental or physical wound or scratch. With that being said, I really should polish up my car. Another thought-provoking statement made by him that we should all ponder upon, especially as Toastmasters. Being a successful Toastmaster is not to become better at Toastmasters, but to become better at life. Well said. Back to you, Toastmaster Maram Al Aradi.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Muhammad, for that great report. Can I please invite all the Toastmasters in the meeting to please vote for your favorite role player, as well as the speaker, best table topic speaker, evaluator, and so on. It was a link shared in the group. So just to remind you all to please vote for your best role players or performer of this meeting. I'll be moving on to my remarks or general remarks. I will try to keep this as short and simple as possible. What I really liked about the meeting today is that it started on time, exactly sharp, basically. It started sharp on time. And the Sergeant at Arms took control very well. He read the mission of the Toastmasters, as well as the code of conduct, which is something that us in Bahrain are not used to doing it. So I'd have to say kudos for that. It was really wonderful addition, and I think we will take that to implement at home. And the guests were introduced before the meeting, so that kind of saved time during the meeting. And the guest of honor was a great addition to the meeting, of course. It's not as common to have a world champion of public speaker or the runner-ups in a regular Toastmaster meeting. Usually they are in a separate event, actually, not just a meeting, a separate event. But to be given the opportunity to be exposed with such a amazing speaker and leader, such as distinguished Toastmaster Aditi, was very cherry on top, let's say, to the meeting, and would like to thank the hosting club for giving us the opportunity for that. The table topic session was really creative. I love the topic, and they were 15. They were a lot, and this is something that we usually don't do. We usually prepare 5 to 6 topics based on the time allotted, but actually the table topic master had the opportunity to prepare 15 topics, and they all were great. Some were related to some were general, but which were easy to answer, and some were actually related to the theme of the meeting, which is something I really liked. And can you all hear me? Can I be heard? Am I audible?
Yes, Maram, we can hear you.
Okay. 1 second, because my mic disconnected. All right. The speakers had amazing messages. I'm not going to comment on each speaker, but the evaluators already gave their evaluations, but I love these speakers and their messages. They were really, really great. Some of the speakers, I feel that we're not given the epitome opportunity to deliver it because of the connectivity issues, but all of them had really beautiful messages. So thank you, the 5 musketeers that we had today on the meeting. And at some point, actually, the meeting reached 51 participants, which is more than I could imagine in one Toastmaster meeting. So that kudos to everybody. And as well as both presidents had the opportunity to deliver the presidential address in a joint meeting. So that is excellent. I would be starting with my improvements on the meeting. I did not notice on the agenda that there was adoption of the agenda. Now, as a president, you have to have adoption of the agenda. And the purpose of adopting the agenda, can we have the mics, please? There's a background noise. Can we have the mic, please? Thank you. I would say the adoption of the agenda is something very important because it helps us have a final look on the agenda to ensure that everything is perfect, let's say, to our best abilities, and ensure that the role players are actually there. The fact that the counter was not present in the meeting could have been properly handled if the adoption of the agenda took place,
And we've noticed that Toastmaster Sujata was not there so that someone can take up her role before we reach to the introduction of the role player. This way it will help the general evaluation, the general evaluator or the master of ceremonies when, the Toastmaster of the day to introduce the role properly. And this is a request for all the role players who are taking roles and they will have an opportunity to speak up or display their videos, is to ensure good connectivity. If not, then try as much as possible to, for example, move around in the house or the place that where you're at, in order to ensure that the connectivity is at maximum to the best of the current situation, so that we don't lag or have any connectivity issues or mic issues. So this is also a request for all the role players to practice before in the meeting. Actually, Zoom provides a free version of Zoom and not necessarily the paid one. So actually Toastmasters can take the extra mile to just go ahead and create meetings and test the audio, test the video, and ensure that everything is okay before the meeting starts, because these kind of issues actually consume more time than we account for, and hence we will be basically running late. And yeah, as per my knowledge, the host of the meeting can actually pin the video of the timer. So instead of the timer can share her screen and then the screen is shared to everyone, the host can actually pin the timer video so that everybody can see the timer video instead of just sharing the screen. So maybe when we just explore Zoom further, maybe we can actually discover more features that can be utilized for our benefit. And I have two more notes that actually I have a lot of notes, but two more notes that the counter already mentioned, that if you're logging from two devices, ensure that the audio is not activated in the second device, and as well as the video, for example, and it is mute, it is kept on mute, or the mics are not working, so that we can hear you in one device and there will not be any echo or distraction in the second device. And the second one is, one second, I cannot read my handwriting. Yes, because we were over time, that was very unfortunate, but I would like to request all the role players to be watchful of the time. Once your role comes up, especially I'm not talking about the speakers, but I'm talking about the other role players. Once your role come up, ensure that you ensure how much time you are left, how much time that you have on the agenda, so that you do not cross the time limit that you have. Otherwise, maybe the VPE, when preparing the agenda, he has or she has to account for all these changes or all these extra times here and there in order to follow the agenda by time, and don't have any time disqualification. I mean, not have any over time, or the need to extend the time the meeting further. And I would like to request the speakers as well, if possible. This is something that I've learned in the trainings for Zoom, is that if the speakers get the chance to actually have the camera up to the eye level instead of looking down or looking upwards. So try to compile boxes or books on top of each other so that the camera reaches to the eye level, so that it is comfortable for the audience to receive the message. If the speaker is speaking downwards or speaking upwards, it's a little bit difficult to perceive the message, well. So if the speakers try as much as possible to keep the camera up to the eye level, it is highly recommended. And in terms of guest introduction, that, like I said, we have 51 participants, but not all of the guests were introduced. This is a chance that everybody can utilize so that they can speak and introduce themselves, especially in virtual meetings. So if it's possible, we have to be watchful of who comes in and who logs out in order to give them a chance to speak. The Because in a physical meeting, we can actually see Toastmasters walking in and we can see their faces. But in the virtual meetings, we don't see their faces and we just see names. And it will be a really good opportunity to actually interact with these Toastmasters and have them at least to speak once just to introduce themselves, especially in joint meetings. And it was a shame that only 15 people or maximum 15 participants that had their video on, despite the fact that we had a lot of participants. It would have been nicer if we had actually more people to have their video on to see their reactions, their faces, get to know them and such. And finally, I'd say is that this is a recommendation we implement in Bahrain as well. This is related to the Toastmaster of the day. Now, once the president takes over and introduces the Toastmaster of the day, in my humble opinion, I believe that the Toastmaster of the day should take up all the introductions throughout the end of the meeting. I've noticed that in the agenda that the general evaluator introduces the tag players. In my opinion, and basically in Toastmasters, like I said, the Toastmaster of the day is the one who carries the meeting. They're the ones who should cruise all the members up till the end of the meeting. So to have different person to introduce different role players, it's a little bit confusing in my opinion. So I would suggest to have the Toastmaster of the day introduce all the role players, because basically in the end of the day, this is the task of the Toastmaster of the day, to introduce everybody and to cruise through the meeting until the very end. So with this, I would like to conclude the general evaluation session. I really had fun. It was my first international meeting, my second international meeting, apologies. And it was really, really nice. And I liked the comments, and I liked the speakers. I liked the interactivity of all the Toastmasters. I had wonderful time gaining lessons from the speakers and opportunity to actually witness the distinguished Toastmaster Aditya deliver his session. And without further ado, I would like to hand the control back to the Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. We should take a moment, or if you could take a moment as well to breathe, because I think you said a mouthful. Toastmaster Maram has always been one of the most sought out general evaluators here in Bahrain for her acute observations. And while we may do differently things here in Bahrain, and while it does in Chennai, whatever we do, however it works, it's just only an opinion. So let's take it forward and grow together in coalescence. We have now come to an end to this wonderful international joint meeting that we have here today. Our theme was locked yet connected. And here we are, confined to our rooms for hours on end, alone physically, but we are connected virtually. We have had over 50 plus participants in this room at one given time. And we were together as close as you can be, like on a train station that Anusha had said. It was a great opportunity to be a Master of Ceremonies or the Toastmaster of the Day for such an event like this. I have met many wonderful Toastmasters from the Chennai Wordsmiths, and especially even a World Championship runner-up. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure and I hope you have too. And I hope, despite when things do recover and do get better, when we are free, we do not lose the connections we've made here today. It has been an honor to be part of this wonderful meeting, and now I hand back the control back to the President. Please and thank you. It was a nice meeting you all. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. It was a wonderful meeting indeed, and I hope you all enjoyed the meeting. Did you all? So let's have a huge round of applause. I take this moment to once again congratulate all the speakers, evaluators, and role players. And specifically, I want to express my gratitude on behalf of members of Chennai Wordsmiths Toastmasters Club as well, to every member of YATC
for accepting the invite and having assigned the role players and the evaluators in a very short span of time. Kudos to you on that. And members, join with me to welcome Toastmaster Najla Kambar once again to address the gathering.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shruti, and thank you so much to all wordsmiths for this wonderful meeting, all the guests that appeared. Thank you so much. I am sorry we could not acknowledge all. I actually saw division directors come in, but we did not acknowledge them. That's actually very embarrassing. There was Division C director, Division B director, and I think other officials as well. But they came in so incognito and we didn't notice it, and they didn't come with their cameras on as well. But let's be mindful for our next coming meetings to make sure that we greet them. Without further ado, I'd say good night to you all, if there's nothing else, but I really enjoyed this meeting, and best of luck to you all. I didn't want to hold up everyone else. Back to you, Toastmaster Shruti.
Thank you, Toastmaster Najla. I would like to get feedback from any of the two participants present here on how you felt the meeting went.
Can I?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a fabulous initiative. Both the clubs, especially kudos to the presidents of both the clubs and VPHs and the ExCom members. This is awesome. We need to applaud to this fabulous team, and very good performance by TMOD, General Evaluator. Even we crossed the limit, time limit, no problem. It was very nice to have such feedbacks. Really great, and lots of learnings, and it's a great experience, new experience for everyone in this meeting through online collaborating with other clubs, other geography. There is no boundary in terms of these online meetings. This is the second meeting which we are having, collaborating with other clubs, other geography. Last week with Mexico team. This week with Bahrain. I don't know. Next week maybe Japan. I don't know. This is good, and guys, you did a fabulous job, YTC guys. Thank you. All the best for you. Stay safe. That's more important. Keep your family safe, yourself safe. There are a lot of things we need to achieve the journey of this life. So stay safe, guys.
Thank you, sir. Can we hear feedback from one of the members of YATC? One of you kindly volunteer. A short, crisp feedback on today's meeting.
I propose Toastmaster. Toastmaster Neda, can we have a few words from you?
Thank you very much. I was hoping you would say Toastmaster Mustafa or Toastmaster Ham to speak up. But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, the members of Chennai Toastmasters, Chennai Wordsmith Toastmasters, for having us here on your screens. It's amazing. It's really, really amazing how we're able to really do this. If technology had not evolved this far, seriously, this would not have been possible. So it was a wonderful meeting overall. I loved all the speeches. Despite all the technical difficulties, we still pushed on and pushed further. And just keep going. Everyone, please stay safe, stay inside, and go out only if you need to. And just keep yourself indoors as much as possible. So thank you all once again.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nara. Are you all excited to know who has performed the best today? So it's time to know the results, and the best tag team player certificate goes to Toastmaster Arun Kumar. And the best role player award goes to distinguished Toastmaster Khaled. And next we have the best
Shruti,
table topic.
Shruti, I don't see your share screen. Maybe somebody else is sharing the screen.
I'm sorry. Is it visible now? Hello, Arun. Is my screen on now?
No. Please check now.
Now?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here are the certificates. The best tag player is Toastmaster Arun Kumar from Chennai Wordsmiths. The best role player is distinguished Toastmaster Khaled from YATC. The best table topic speaker goes to 2 Toastmasters, 1 to TM Manish from Chennai Wordsmiths, and to Toastmaster Sarah from YATC. And the best evaluator award goes to distinguished Toastmaster Rajiv Nambiar.
Thank you.
The most awaited award, the best speaker for the day is Toastmaster Anusha. Well, overall, it has been a wonderful experience connecting with you all. And there has been a lot of learning because few things have been totally different how YATC club has. And I also believe you had different kind of learning from our club members as well. So this has been a wonderful experience. Thank you all once again for being here and for accepting the invite. And I hope even after everything gets settled down, we could have online meetings sometime later as well. Definitely. So with this, I adjourn the international joint meeting. On behalf of both the presidents, thank you all. Thank you once again. The meeting is adjourned, and now we can have 10 minutes of networking session if time permits. Yes.
Yeah, you have to have 10 minutes.